What's up, YouTube? It is Magic Mistress here today with a video talking about energy and how energy is expressed in us. I'm going to be talking about gender expression, transsexuality, transgender, and how all of this relates to the masculine and feminine energies in all of us. I'm also going to be talking about the wounded energies and how they are different from the healed version. So yeah, let's just get right into it. I did come out as transsexual in, I think, October, and it's been about, I think, 6 months since that time, and I've had a lot of different realizations of energy and the way that it transcends gender. And I know I talked about this, I believe, in the second video of me coming out. I was saying how I don't really care about the whole pronoun thing because I believe that we are more than a gender. Sometimes we think that the way that we're expressing ourselves is the way that we're meant to be, but it's actually different for every single person. So I'm going to be going over many different scenarios. Let's talk energy and how energy is different from being healed and being wounded. So I'm first going to start with the healed version of feminine energy. Feminine energy is receiving, very powerful in receptivity, and really just being safe in the self and not having to prove one's worth. It's really the belief that you deserve your desires, regardless if you have to work really hard to get them. And the healed masculine energy is the idea that you do have to prove yourself to get these desires, but once you do that, you are deserving of them, and it's the more working energy. So it's more aggressive, assertive, rather than receptive, and we like to think of the masculine as protecting the feminine. So a wounded feminine energy can create the belief that they deserve everything, whether it's through evil deeds or not. This can be seen through degradation, comparisons to others, and power plays where one person is giving and the other only receives. So this is the feminine energy of it really is all take, right? So if someone is wounded in the feminine, then that means that they could have a really inflated sense of self. However, it's wounded, so it's more of the ego, right? So both of these wounded energies are the ego. And the wounded masculine energy is the belief that they always have to work to receive goods. And this can be seen as issues with trust, intimacy, and power plays where intentional hurt is inflicted upon the feminine energy. The wounded energy is the ego, and we know that when we actually heal this energy, we get rid of the ego. And I'm saying that we get rid of it not to have it just be gone with no replacement. We actually replace it with something else that is self-love to the fullest extent. If we are able to heal this energy on both ends, and then we're able to express it in a way that is with our highest self, then we are actually protected, and we don't need an ego to protect us, because the ego comes out when the energy is wounded because it needs a protector. And if the energy is unhealed, it can't actually serve you to the highest good. So then you need to create like this facade, which is the ego. And we know that when we get rid of that, we actually feel safer in being ourselves. We feel more free. We can actually attract things that we want because we're in tune with all parts of ourselves and not just our mind, because the healed energy comes from the heart, from the soul, and the ego just comes from the mind, and a lot of the times that's not actually what we want. The energy that we are internally putting inside of ourselves is reflected externally in the opposite. So if you are feminine internally, your masculine is going to protect you out in the real world. And then if you're masculine internally, your feminine is going to protect the masculine by being more receptive, so your ideas are easier to come across and you're not so loud and assertive with all this liveliness inside of you. Because I feel like the feminine is more tempering down and the masculine is raising up. So it's whatever resonates with you in the way that this is how we find our divine power. This is how we find our intuition. How do you protect yourself on your own? How do you be your number one supporter without having an ego? And this is by finding those energies. Every person has the ability to harbor both energies. This goes with the whole transsexual thing, right? So when we honor our femininity as a man, you're actually going to feel more strong and masculine internally. And then as a woman, if you honor your masculinity, your assertiveness, your confidence, power, externally, you're actually going to feel more receptive and safe internally. And this is really important to reach the highest potential, because we know that our womb is connected with the feminine, and that's connected with psychic intuition. So to be in our true element, we have to invoke the energy that feels best to us internally. If someone is out of alignment with this true part of themselves, they're not going to have any intuitive sense, any direction with their life. They're going to be very lost. They're expressing themselves in an energy that is supposed to be internally, because that connects them to their actual biology of their body, which is connected to the spiritual realm. The masculine is always protecting the feminine, and even if it is unbalanced, if you have more than another, you can actually heal these by understanding that the external and the internal are two separate things, and if something doesn't feel right internally, then you need to give attention to that. Our souls chose to reincarnate in our bodies because they know that we can only get some things in life by being this person, this gender, this age, this race, whatever you want to call it. We knew, our souls knew that coming here in this specific circumstance is going to have us live our dreams. So if we are restraining our current circumstance in any type of way, we're actually just prolonging our dreams. If you are focused on the external look or what people say, what you can and can't get with your body, then you have to look inward. Then you have to find things inside of yourself. Maybe this means you have to study, or you have to journal and find out who you are internally to see what you can get externally with that. And if it's the opposite, you have to look outward. So some people may think they're only worthy for who they are internally, and they cannot connect with their body because they have a resistance that this is the body that they came in. But when they actually accept that this body can get them things that leads them to a higher future, then there's this connection that's like, this is all happening for a reason. Whether you're internally resonating with it or not, we know that energy is different than gender. And as long as you resonate with energy, you can be happy with whatever gender you're in. That is the end of this video. If you guys want to see more updates on this topic, you can let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.